Jimmy's Jam Box. Keep jamming. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jam Box. We're here. We're back at it again, and we're going to get on into it. But before we do, as always, make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. You know, I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. Now let's go ahead and get on into it. Here is today's guests.
What's up, everyone? My name's KooKay.
I'm Mel After Death.
And I'm Xaotix, but a lot of people just call me Zay.
We are MIMA 117, so yeah.
Hell yeah. Hello. Thank you so much for joining us today. Fun fact, y'all. First long-distance travel guest that only showed up for the show. I know some of you are going to say Signed Rosie. Shout out Signed Rosie. But she had other plans already. These guys specifically drove into town just for this. Really, really appreciate y'all being here.
Of course.
Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about, where, why don't we go individually for this one? Tell us, a little bit about where you're from and, what you do musically.
Well, where I'm from, my parents were in the Army, so I was around the world a lot
Yeah, moved
growing
around.
up. So kind of was like here in America, over in Germany, over in Australia and stuff. So, but I'd started growing up here in Olympia in Washington. Went to school in Yelm. That's where I met these guys. You guys probably don't know where Yelm is at because
I've seen it on a map
small
before.
town place, but yeah. And we're all each our own individual artists, but we come together as a group because we've worked together for a long time now. It's been over a year now.
About a year and a half.
Hell yeah.
Over a year. So.
And then why don't you go and tell us about yourself?
Yeah, I'm Mel After Death, and my parents were actually military too, and so I moved around a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly grew up on the East Coast down south, and then moved to Washington 4 years ago maybe.
Okay.
And then I met these guys maybe a couple years ago now.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't start making music until about maybe year and a half now.
Year ago.
About a year and a half ago. And that's when I really started getting into it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, that's got into it with the whole group thing, and that's where I've been ever since with making music.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And then,
Again, Xaotix.
Mm-hmm.
My parents are not military.
man, way to ruin it for everybody.
Sorry. No.
Almost had that set up, but no.
Yeah,
No, I'm kidding.
my
Go
bad.
ahead. Go ahead.
Born in California. Moved up here when I was 2. Been here ever since. Barely been out of state.
Okay. Man, you were just the polar opposite then.
Yeah. Yeah. Started making music, 2013. I think I was 12 or 13 years old, making it on an iPad, and slowly worked my way up to where now I'm doing it on a MacBook now. So,
Oh, man, started at the bottom.
yeah. It was on Apple headphones and a iPad with GarageBand.
You know what? As the show is going on over time, I am learning that more people, that's how they started.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like with us too, because we all grew up in this age where you can create it so easily
Mhm.
on your phone. You know what I mean? You literally just download an app and then you can just plug in your headphones and you're ready to go. You know what I mean? So
I'm more perplexed by the fact that so many people had iPads. I didn't know it was
Right,
such a common household thing. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
I just thought some people did if they were really into Apple products. I use one for the show, but I've never had one just personal use. So lately a lot of people have been yeah, I started my first song on my iPad. I'm oh, well, all right. Hey,
it's a good place to start.
Yeah,
mean,
you know what? I actually thought that was only me for a very long time.
Oh, well, surprise.
Yeah, right?
Surprise. Yeah, no, it's definitely a thing. I think it's cool though because back in the day you had to get a shitty Windows laptop. You had to find the cheapest Windows laptop you could. It had to be Windows because then you could put Audacity on it, which was basically free.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was in the name to use that for anything to record music. You had to really have the Audacity because, it was not the best. But you know what? It was so limited. I think at certain points you could only record in mono.
Oh.
You had to make it stereo external, like you had to record 2 mono tracks, the left and the right, but you had to export them as mono and then put them into another thing to make them a stereo track. It was not great, but you really, really had to lean into it to make anything sound good when you went from that, for some reason, handheld looking microphone with the 1/8 inch output that converted to the giant size one so you could amplify it through a thing and then run it back into your computer. It wasn't good. So an iPad is a step up.
No, yeah.
A big step up. But you're right. The technology these days makes it just so accessible for everybody to be able to like make something from the start.
Yeah, it's a good place because me and Xaotix, that's where we started. I mean, I started on my phone, he started on his iPad. The phone's basically the same thing. It really teaches you a lot about like the basics of mixing and just like doing all that, you know, like, I don't know, I feel like
It's all really simple. It's not over complex.
Yeah.
You know, auto-tune is pretty simple. I remember I had to teach him how to do keys, though,
yeah,
way back in the beginning.
It's definitely a process in the beginning. What did you start on?
So I had like an interesting experience since I first started working with both of them. They were both like very established. They both had a lot of experience with music. They were both able to like, I got like they may have like, let's say like started here and I got like a step up because of them helping me out.
Oh, so you just kind of, you like osmosis to yourself into like just
yeah, I just had
some kind of foundation.
I had I knew I was friends with the right people and they helped me out a lot.
Honestly, there's nothing wrong with that. Like I don't think there, like I think some people over exemplify the need to have everything in-house all the time. Like I think the collaborative effort makes everything easier to do. Like fiscally, first of all, it's much easier to obtain gear when 3 people are sharing one thing, but not everybody needs to do all the things. Sometimes it could be too many cooks in the kitchen. But I think that's like being around people who have the stuff and getting better with them at the same time is just as good. Like not everybody needs to have the thing at the start. But also, it sounds like you kind of started a little bit later than both of them as far as like music went.
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
Like, I think
Years.
I think just guessing, I think like they had like maybe like 5 years on me both.
Do you think working with them has like accelerated your understanding of music because they just kind of move and like communicate at a certain pace already?
I think it made me have to feel like I had to speed up a lot more. It made me like learn things that like while working on my own, I could have procrastinated a lot more, but with working with people who are already like knowing all these things, they know all these different things and they're wanting to progress further, I had to like step up a little more and be like, I gotta like learn this.
Hell yeah. All right, now do any of y'all play any instruments?
I play some guitar. I'm like really beginner though. I can play like Smoke on the Water really bad.
Okay. Okay.
Back in the day when I was a kid, I used to play the piano. I mean, maybe I could relearn it, but you know.
Hell yeah.
I was in the band and I played the clarinet.
You know what?
Clarinet
Not the
boy.
first clarinet player we've had on the show either. Coincidentally, the episode that came out today, which fun fact, y'all, today was the first episode that had a 3 guest interview, but it didn't happen in the studio. So this is still the first in studio 3 guest interview. But their bass player, also a clarinet player.
That's cool.
That was his thing. I wonder how many band instruments will have been said by the end of this year for this show. Somebody put that in the comments at the end. Just remember for later. You're gonna have to watch every episode from now on. Go back, watch the last few, figure out what everybody said. We're gonna figure it out at the end. That's a little long-term goal for us. Now, actually, we're gonna jump to a fun one. So this one I'll have y'all answer individually. What was the first album y'all bought with your own monies? And no, I know I said monies. I did that on purpose. I promise.
I was ready for this one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna have you go last then.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna have these guys have to sweat it a little bit.
Well, for me, I don't know if I ever really bought an album because for me growing up, I usually just listened to a lot of what my dad was already listening to.
Okay.
So like, he had an iPod, I would just steal it and just listen to whatever was on there already. You know what I mean? It wasn't until I got older until like I started like actually buying my music, but I still don't think I have bought an album. Like I have Apple Music, like 'cause I pay for that. You know
what was the first song you bought on Apple Music then? And please let it be something dumb. Please let it be like Baby Shark.
I think I remember the first song I added, and I think it was back when I was in middle school. I think XO Tour Life by Lil Uzi. I think that was the first song that I had got, and then it was like, because what was it? He was part of that one album that he dropped right after. It was I think it was, I can't remember.
You know what? There's too many too many names at the end of the day.
You know, yeah.
But all right, but we'll count that.
Lil Uzi, yeah.
All right.
Like first album I actually bought, like I was gifted like albums, but
Yeah, but like the first one, you were like, I want to go get this album. Went and got that album.
I think I may have bought it digitally.
That's fine.
I may have bought a Linkin Park album with my own money first, but
okay.
one that I know for sure was a Brockhampton album. I think it was Saturation 3.
Okay, solid choice. All right, what is it?
Okay, so I thought before I got here, I was even thinking, I was like, man, I don't think I've ever really bought an album. Thought I was gonna have the same answer as KooKay, but no, it came to me. I had a weird period where I was collecting CDs, and I bought Discovery by Daft Punk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
Man, all right. You know what? I'll take that. I'll take that. That is it. That is a firm answer, and you were prepared for it. We love it. We love it. All right. Now, this is going to be another round of individual answer questions. Tell us about the first show you ever went to that like you like wanted to attend the show. So like, you know, if you got like dragged to the fair when you were like 6, that doesn't count. But like the first one that you like went to and you were like, oh my God, it's this artist. I can't believe I got to see them. And this time we'll go this direction.
First, it's like the first concert, right?
Yeah.
It was like, it's actually only like 2 years ago. It was Playboy Cardi. Went and seen him live.
Okay.
Craziest experience, man. Just yelling in the mic. No words.
Good to know.
Funny.
Good to know. All right. Well, I mean, solid for who played with him?
No, Ken Carson. Opened
Okay.
for him.
Hell yeah. All right.
So like the first like actual concert that I can remember that I went to wasn't the one I chose to, but it was a New Kids on the Block concert that my mom took me to.
All right.
Had, like Nelly and TLC.
Wait a second. When was that?
I can't remember. I mean, it may have been like 13.
Where was it?
I think maybe in Virginia, or the last time I was somewhere here in Washington, but I may have been on the East Coast.
If it was somewhere here in Washington, I think somebody else who has been on the show, that's one they said as well.
It might have been one here.
Because I specifically remember New Kids on the Block being referenced as somebody's answer to that. So another thing y'all have to put in the comments. Go back and check it out for me. Do some sleuthing.
But the actual one that I first chose to go to was a YBN Quarter Day concert that I went to with some friends. That was a really cool experience.
Hell yeah.
I wasn't even that big a fan of them before I went, but after going, I was like, that was amazing.
That was me with Cody and Cambria. I never knew about him, and then my buddies were like, come see these guys. And I was like, well, I wanted to go to a show anyways. I watched it, and I was like, huh.
Exact same reaction.
Yeah, like, how does he get his hair so big? How does he do the thing with the tube in his mouth? How does he play solos and sing at the same time? Yeah, no, I love when you go to like see somebody that you like know of.
But you're not like the biggest fan.
Yeah, you just like, you know, at the end of the day, you can't know everything. But like, I love when you like go to see somebody that you like maybe are like passively aware of, and by the end you're like, oh,
You're like, I'm a fan now.
these guys are rad. Yeah, hell yeah, that's a great one. All right.
So my first concert that I ever like actually bought with my own money and like wanted to go to was a year and a half ago. I think it was Lil Tecca with Young Chris. A lot of people probably know him, probably don't know him. He's kind of like still in the underground a little bit, even after he made some like mainstream hits. But I feel like my most favorite concert that I went to was the Yeet concert that I went to. I think just a couple months ago, and
Yeah.
people were going crazy.
I was going to say a couple people have definitely mentioned that one for sure.
Yeah, Yeet
For
concerts are crazy. I love that.
Hell yeah. All right, let's go ahead and dive into some artist-focused questions. And this will be, again, mix of group answers and individual answers. But we're going to get the easy one out of the way. How'd y'all pick your group names?
Well, are we allowed to talk about drugs?
Yes, as long as it's all allegedly.
This is all alleged. Partial, but fictional
Just
story.
throw up those quotation marks.
Yeah. So we took mushrooms a lot.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
You got to get that part.
Okay,
There you go.
allegedly. We just get really geeked pretty much, and we like to hike around Washington, go to different hiking trails and stuff like that. And one of these hiking trails is called MIMA Falls. and that was probably where we got the most geeked, allegedly. And it was just a great time. We all vibed really well, and there was a point where the reason why it's so important to me is there was a point where KooKay and I were underneath a bridge. Like it was a wooden bridge, and we were underneath there, and I was like,
are you sure it was a wooden bridge?
Maybe.
Are you sure? The whole time you were just at the back of a Kmart. And the even more concerning thing is that Kmart still wasn't around by that point.
Yeah, right? No, but yeah, no. Hopefully it was a bridge.
Yeah, all right. So you were under this bridge. Allegedly.
Allegedly. And I was talking to him about music because he was already really big into tripping and, psilocybin therapy and stuff like that. And I was telling him, like, I kind of want to get into that, but I don't want to, like, steal your whole identity almost in a way, And he kind of suggested, like, it's not really my thing. It's just a culture and, we can do it together pretty much.
Okay, I dig that.
Yeah, from that experience, I feel like it really opened all of our eyes. Like, we all just, like, I don't know, we came back to my house after, like, that whole hike, and we literally were just sitting there, and we were all just talking about how we just knew we can take this music stuff, like, far. You know what I mean? We just all have to come together and work together as one, because that's when our best work comes out, is when we're all putting in hour and a half of our work, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Our eyes just really opened. We were like, we should do this, like, let's make this group. And I don't really know, like, we were just kind of sitting there in my room, and we were like, what should we call the group? And we really liked the MIMA experience, so we had to use MIMA. Okay. And then the 117 just kind of came from us adding our favorite numbers together.
Yeah.
That's where it came from. You gonna try
who's
and
the
guess?
two? Yeah, who's the two? I'm gonna say. I think you're sitting in the correct order, and it's 1, 1, and 7.
Oh no, it's all of our favorite numbers added up.
Oh, it's
Yeah, we
117. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna make me do math on my own show. Get out of here. I thought it was your 3 individual favorite numbers, and 2 of you happen to have the same favorite number as 1.
No.
You should change it to that. Wait. Do both of you have the same favorite number that's the number 1?
No.
Damn, that would have been perfect. You're like, Jimmy, that would have added up to 9. And again, nobody's going to make me do math on my own goddamn show but me. So we're going to move on from that part. But that's a really, cool answer. Thank you for sharing that. But I like that bit at the end. That's fun how it's all of your, what is your favorite numbers? I have to at least know.
My favorite number is 2.
27.
Mine is 88.
All right. Well, still sitting in scaled order. I just want to say it went from smallest to biggest.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
there we go.
I did that on purpose. Allegedly. Hell yeah. And now since again, don't have a lot of multiple people experiences, how did you all pick your names individually as musicians? And because you didn't really get to share a lot from that last story, we're going to start with you.
So my name it actually spells out my initials. Mm-hmm. My initials are Lad, and then L after death is LAD.
Oh, okay.
And I actually had some help coming up with it, and then there's different meanings after I tried coming up with the name means for me. But my brother actually helped me come up with it because originally it was just Lad, and I had wanted to find some meaning for that, and L after death fit well because I had this experience where it felt like letting go of a past self and moving forward. So L after death, after the fact, was something that seemed fitting for it.
Yeah, I just figured it meant you didn't even lose until after you died. Stayed win until death.
It's a cool way to look at it too.
Yeah. No, it is a really interesting one because it leaves a lot of room for interpretation.
Yeah.
And I think that can go a long way, and it's still the acronym. You can still use LAD, you know what I mean? So you kind of get both.
It worked out really well because LAD is still something that I really wanted to use. I thought having those initials was always a big flex for me. I always bragged about my initials are LAD.
Also, it scales well, because it's I assume it's the letter L. Mm-hmm. It would be odd if it was EL.
Yeah,
the after death.
Bad.
But it visibly would look really cool. You could do a lot with that particular like structure of letter and words after. But that's just stuff I care about because I grew up with graphic art and design around me the whole time. All right, now either of you can go. I screwed up the order by starting in the middle.
All right. My name KooKay also comes from my initials K and J, but the way I came up with mine was it was back in high school. I was partying with some friends, and at the time I was kind of scared. I didn't really know if I wanted to make music or not because like the whole image is just like, I don't know, I was just scared people were gonna make fun of me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was just talking to my friends, and I was like, if I were to be an artist, what would my name even be? You know what I mean? We're all just faded, just spitting out random things, and I don't know how it came up, but it just came up. It was like KooKay, and I heard it, and I was like, that sounds right. That sounds right. Like it's like playful in a way, kind of, and like I don't know how to explain it. It just I heard it, and it felt I had that feeling inside me. You know what I mean? Like.
Because it's the opposite of Cujo, it feels really like disarming. Like for some reason, it feels like what Cujo's like positive for, like the anti-Cujo would be. It would be KooKay.
No, yeah.
So
I
you're
feel
like
that.
the not evil version of that dog that murdered 1 million people in movie format only. Allegedly, I've never actually seen the movie. It's not my
saw it when I
vibe.
was younger.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
You brought that up though. I forgot about that. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
but you feel like you would be the little like cartoon child animated version with that name. It just
No,
feels like
yeah.
really upward and positive.
No, yeah.
But I dig that. Hell yeah. All right. Let's hear it.
Breaking the chain again, but my name don't come from my initials.
Okay.
It's actually kind of dumb. My brother supports me a lot in my music, and before I really stuck with this name, I had like 20 different names at one point because it was on SoundCloud. You know, I was just messing around. And my brother's usernames and like everything that he used everywhere was Xylane and Chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of mixed the two and did Xaotix.
Okay.
And worked out well.
Can you spell that for everybody?
Yeah, Xaotix with an exclamation mark. You can find me everywhere, all platforms.
Well, we'll plug that again at the end. I just was like, oh man, is this going to be one of those like Elon Musk kid names where there's like an ampersand for some reason?
There's also like a small idea behind it with me where I kind of wanted to pick one that was a little weird because like I feel like some of the best kind of promotion is word of mouth, right? And a lot of people I notice argue about how to pronounce artists' names. So like if they see my name somewhere, like something happens to, take off at one point, it would be like, you heard this new artist, I've heard Xaotix before, or like just random weird pronunciations of it. So
That's actually really smart. That's a really cool thought. Thank you for sharing that.
you're welcome.
Take
advice, kids.
Yeah, that's like that literally lives in the realm of no press is bad press. Like if your name's in their mouth, it's in their mouth. You know what I mean? But that's interesting because then they would go to see you to find out.
Yeah.
Holy shit. That was really cool.
Yeah.
I like that. I like
Thank
that a
you.
lot. He won that round, you guys. By the way, we've been keeping points the whole time.
Oh,
no, I'm
no.
kidding. I'm kidding. But all right, now this next question is more of a group answer. And obviously y'all have your own ways of doing this too, but specifically when you're making music as a group and you're putting together a song, take us through that process and focus specifically on the beginning, like when you all get creative, when you want to make something, how do you start a track? And then what decides a track is done?
I feel like the start of the whole process, it's kind of hard, like, because sometimes we'll try to record something and it doesn't really work out. Like, it's not always like 100% of the time, but when we actually do get it going and working, like, I feel like our process is like, find the flow first. You listen to the beat over and over again. Just find a different flows. Just make different noises, you know what I mean, into the mic. Play with the auto-tune or whatever. Find different flows that you like, and then just add the words in, you know what I mean, like into that flow, like that you want. So like, it's kind of hard to explain, because like,
It's very much like we we play around with it first. Like we just say random shit.
Yeah.
And then it kind of all comes together. Like it's at the end of the day, a lot of our music is us just having fun
Yeah.
and messing around.
Because that's what
sometimes.
we want to do is when we perform, we want people to just have fun. That's like, we want to bring people away from all the bad things that they're experiencing in life. Like, come out and have fun. Like, there's not always just bad things in life. You just gotta feel it. You know what I mean? You just gotta feel it.
Hell yeah, I dig that. What about you? I want to get your input on this as well.
I was just gonna like mention with some songs, we like we kind of just let it come naturally. You know, we'll just play with the stuff on the mic. But sometimes we may like play a beat, and one of us may come to one of us really fast, and that'll be like who will start.
Oh, okay.
Or we'll all just have like a group idea and on what we want to do.
Do you ever like try to pick like a similar theme to like go at, even if it's not like the key one, just as kind of like a foundation for like everybody to get on the same page? Or do y'all have like anything that like you do at the beginning of like getting together to just kind of like lock in? Like, you know, do you do like 10 minutes of freestyling, or like do weird like improv where you like pass the invisible ball back and forth? Like, do you have anything like that as like when you start out making music together each time you sit down?
Before, I mean, we still do it now every now and then, but microdosing a little bit kind of opens your mind. Yeah.
Allegedly.
Kind of opening our mind a little bit, you know what I mean? And it kind of just like,
It's always helped us.
yeah, just like lets you be a little bit more free. You don't have to, like, because in music you can say whatever you want. Like, you really can. You just got to like open yourself up to it sometimes. Yeah.
Hell yeah. All right, now there's still the other half of that question, which was what decides when a track is done?
Oh, yeah.
I kind of want to hear you were ready for that one.
Okay, so at least from my experience, and I think they may agree with me on this, is usually with most tracks that we've done, it's usually been like a group like decision of like, yeah, that was like good. Like we can usually agree when we've like added everything or added all the little details we want to add to it. We can be like, yeah, that's fire. We like that. We love how that sounds. And it's usually we're just all able to agree on like that we liked the energy that was like put into that.
Okay. Hell yeah. And you guys got follow-ups?
I feel like a lot of times we'll also listen to it back a lot of times too, you know, like, because we'll notice the things that we want to fix or whatever. And once you listen to a track too, like this even happens for like some of my solo tracks. I'll make a song, right? I'll listen to it back one time and I'll think, oh, this isn't that good. But then you play it back a few more times, you start noticing things that you're like, wait, this is actually pretty good. Like, hold on. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Hell yeah.
so I feel like that happens sometimes too.
Okay. Yeah, I could dig that. Do you have anything you want to add on? They
No, that was pretty much it.
I was going to say, those sounded pretty concise. All right, now, I want to stick to this concept just a little bit longer, and I kind of want to ask, what is it like when you guys have something that, like, say, two of you love and one of you is just not vibing with, and not in like a like, oh well, like we're gonna hate this person for doing this, but like what do you do constructively to like meet in the middle? Like, do you like take parts apart? Do you like agree to like this for that? Like, what do you guys do to kind of like make sure that everybody gets, because you can't love every single part of every single song when you're working with multiple people. Yeah. Like, you gotta bend a little bit for all of it to incorporate for everybody. And I think, working with people, at least there's general agreement on usual concepts. But like, when you do come to that impasse, what do you guys usually do as far as like things to solve that?
We usually like talk it out and work together, because like sometimes like we'll come to a roadblock where like we can't record or we don't know what to say next when we're recording or whatever, and we'll go to I'll just turn to my homies and be like, yo, what can I do next? Like can you guys help me? I'm stuck right here, and they will come and help. You know what I mean? Like, it's always been like you can voice your opinion and we will always like we're all gonna work together around it. You know what I mean? Like,
okay.
And keep going with it. Like, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Xaotix was going to say something.
I was going to say, I saw you had something to say too.
Yeah. I feel like, so wait, what was the question again?
Yeah, that wasn't exactly the answer to the question, but I liked the answer regardless. But the question was, if like two of you were vibing on something and the third person didn't love it, like what is the solution in that instance? Like, how do you guys usually come to either like an agreement or like a sacrifice for like what happens in those instances?
Usually, so somebody we haven't really had a point like that yet, but we've had something like where somebody doesn't really like their verse on a song, or like we'll listen to it back and we're like, yeah, this is hard, you know, but then somebody's kind of like, yeah, this ain't really that good. I don't really like my part. We usually just have them re-record it, or sometimes we do sacrifice and we're like, fuck it, we're just gonna drop it anyways.
Okay.
So we've all had our moments where it's like we don't really like our part, but nah.
So it sounds like it's always been introspective, never like, hey, like, I love what I did, and one of the other people's, or one of the other two of you is like, I love what they did too, and the third person's just like, I don't know, maybe it wasn't that.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, yeah.
Okay. Hey, I mean that's all right. That just means y'all like what y'all do together, and that's that. We were talking about that off mic, but like, you know, when you find your artist that you can work with, where everything is just agreeing all the time, it really goes a long way towards,
you all just connect really well.
Exactly. It really goes a long way towards putting music together without having to like hang up on it. You know what I mean? When it's not a discussion because you just already know what the other person's going to say. That usually means it's a good fit. So good job. You guys did it. All right. Now for this next question, I'm gonna leave it open to either group or individual. We're gonna let this one kind of float as it is. But out of your entire discography of tracks available, which song would you say represents y'all best at the moment?
Ooh. I think we could all have our own individual answers on this one. I'm going to have to say for right now, our most recent track, Back to MIMA. I don't know, every time I play that track, I don't know. It represents everything that we were feeling at that time and everything. It's like, also, I just feel like our best work so far right now. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Oh, yeah. All right.
So I really want to say Back to MIMA as well. It's one of my favorites that we've done, and I do think it like showcases a lot of what MIMA is. But I think I'm gonna go with one called Pressure. That was like one of the first songs we ever did together.
Okay.
And I think it really like, for like a first song, we all just clicked so well on it, and it was like, I think, a great preview of what was to come.
All right, solid answer. We now have both ends of the spectrum, literally oldest and newest, or one of oldest, I should say. And you're gonna break the mold again, aren't you?
I don't know.
Aren't you gonna make? I'm dead center, you guys. You wouldn't believe it. My parents were never in the military. I don't know.
Ooh. So as a group, I'd honestly, I have to say, ooh, it's hard. Those are both so good, because Pressure is just, that day or that night, we just all clicked so well. Like, I don't know what it was, but even Back to MIMA, like, it's a great representation. If you're saying where we're at the moment now, I'd have to say Back to MIMA.
Okay.
Because Back to MIMA is, it's just, it showcases literally like where we're at now compared to where we were when we dropped our last project.
I could dig that.
Yeah, it's.
What was the window of time between those two?
That period.
6-7 months.
Okay.
Before we dropped anything as a group
you
again.
guys were hyping it up like it was going to be like 2.5 years or something. No, I don't even think you guys have been doing music aggressively together for that long. But like, I get that. Like, were you just not working on music like at all, or were like you guys like still like vibing and doing stuff and just not putting anything down or out?
There's a lot of other stuff going on behind the scenes, I feel like, too. Like, we're starting now to get really involved in the Seattle scene, you know? Like,
okay.
So, like, all these shows and festivals, all these stuff that we're doing. Like, we also want to start setting up our own events, too. Like, we have our own stage, our own sound system, and everything to already run it. So,
all right.
Our stage was used at Feed the People.
That was exactly what I... Oh, so that... Okay. Like the physical stage itself, or that's y'all's space?
Physical stage.
Yeah,
itself.
Okay.
Stage,
Okay.
yeah.
I was like, huh. Well, that's cool. What a turn of events. Is that how y'all found out about the show? You don't mind me asking? About the show, sorry.
For me, yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
that's how
actually found out through Makai, because Makai, you had him on here.
Yep. Shout out Makai. That was fun.
Yeah, Makai was cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, that's really cool. That's fun to know. And now I know. We almost got set up right next to the stage. Like, I showed up and they were like, aha, this is where you'll set up. But I'll be like, I think we're gonna hear a little bit of that. Like literally, stone's throw is the old colloquialism. This would have been a stone's underhand toss. Like I probably could have made cornhole from where it was. I was like, can we sit anywhere else? He's like, oh, we got this weird spot in the back. It was super beautiful. It was on the river at those little tiny palm plants. That was actually perfect.
Yeah, those shots were good.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. That was a really fun. We had never done an interview at like a thing like that before. We'd always, done them in controlled environments, even when outside. So being able to do that in that space, that like everything came together really well. So that's really cool. Glad to know you guys had a part in it. That was actually a really collaborative effort. Yeah, I mean, shout out to Born Dead Entertainment, Jameson and Jason B. That was a really cool thing y'all did. And thank y'all for including as well.
Yeah.
All right, but let's dive back into the questions at hand. And this next one, you know what? Again, this is kind of a group or individual, but I'm kind of curious to see if it's a group answer for this one. What was your most favorite, or if you have too many favorites, the wildest show y'all ever performed at? And if you have a story for each one individually, you can definitely tell both.
I mean, you want to go first, Mr. Zay?
I'd honestly say our second performance, the one that we threw. That one, the energy was there. Everybody was singing along because our album had already been out for about a month at that point. Mm-hmm. Everybody was singing along the lyrics. It was an experience that none of us had ever had before in a way. And it was very like, wow. Like, I think we only had like 35, 40 people show up for that one, but it was still like seeing that many people close together, singing your songs. Yeah. It does something to you, It's like,
there's
damn.
something so wild about the first time you hear another group of people like say the words that you said all the time. Like when you hear it back at you from an external sources, that's not the speakers that your song is coming out of.
No, yeah.
Like, oh, it's such an experience. It hits so much differently than everything else.
It's just for me, that's hands down so far the best performance like craziest one for me.
Hell yeah. All right, let's go down the line.
The second performance was something that was really cool, but I think our first performance, it wasn't like a full performance for me. I came on for 2 songs that I was featured on. And I think I'm going to go with that one because it was, like, my first taste of anything, fully. Like, it was, like, a big moment of, like, I'm really, like, diving into something that, like, I want to be passionate about. And, like, stepping up on stage with a mic in my hand and people being excited to see me pop out, like, to do something that was, like, a really fun experience. And
Hell yeah. That's actually a really cool perspective on that moment as well. All right.
I'd have to say the second performance also. Because
you guys are killing me on these 2-to-1s. No, I'm kidding. Keep going.
I mean, I would say the first performance too, because to be honest, we had more people show out for our first performance. It was like around like 60 people.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, dude, the feeling of doing my first ever performance was crazy. Like, I was sitting backstage, like
just feeling it.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you could hear everyone outside already, like the loud music. It was like, whoa. Like.
How old were y'all when that happened?
19.
Yeah, 19.
Okay.
19.
18.
Okay. I'm starting to understand this dynamic a little. No, I'm kidding. No, but that's awesome. I mean, that you never forget your first.
There's just something about it. There's like that first moment of like stepping up on stage is just. Because you like stare back out at all these people. You're not like no longer a person standing in the crowd staring up at someone else. You're looking at all these people who are staring at you, waiting for what you're about to do.
Yep. And unless you have lighting, then you're just staring at the black abyss of like possible silhouettes. That's definitely a whole thing on its own. But no, I feel it. My very first show was at this place called Nickel City. Which is it was like a nickel arcade.
That's cool.
You're from California lately. You might have heard of it.
Maybe. I don't know.
But it was like a nickel arcade, but they also had like just an event space. It wasn't even like fully closed off. Like it just like there was the whole arcade, and then there was like a little gap, and then the whole length of the arcade worth was like a little just space, multi-purpose, and there was no stage. It was just wherever the speakers started. Behind that was where you performed. But same thing. We packed it out because our drummer just blew up and told everybody, and like got his whole group and his whole group's group and their whole group's groups to go. But it was insane. Like, and we weren't even on a stage, so we were standing eye level with everybody, and there were no lights at this Nickel Arcade Event Center space, so we saw everybody. But yeah, there's nothing like it.
Nah, yeah.
And as soon as you do it, the only thing you ever want to do is do it again.
Yeah, you just want to keep going back and doing more.
Especially when that moment, the nervousness goes away when the first song starts. Like, up until the first song starts, even on stage, even as soon as you say hello to everybody, you're feeling it. And then that first beat hits and you're like, oh, this is it. This is it. I hope everybody remembers that.
That nervousness is like really something interesting because like before I stepped up on the stage, I had like the craziest feeling in my stomach. I was like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can do this. As soon as I stepped on there and like brought the mic to my mouth for the first time, it was like, yeah, I got this.
It's really like a dive into the deep end kind of thing. You know what I mean? Once you've started doing it, you don't get to redo it. You know what I mean? You just have to start going. But the nice thing about music is that it's something that if you've done it regularly, it's just comfortable. Like, you realize you don't need to be nervous because it's no different. But that's really cool. I appreciate you guys sharing that.
Hell yeah.
All right, now we're going to go ahead and jump into some hypothetical questions. We're going to have fun with these ones.
Okay.
And this will be an individual answer for sure. If y'all could work with any one artist who's currently alive, and if you're thinking a group, you have to pick an individual member from that group. Who would you pick?
Oh, that's hard.
And I'm just gonna let whoever figures it out first. I feel like
know.
you have it.
Oh yeah,
You know, we'll let you go first on this one.
You ever hear of Break-ins?
Oh, the name sounds so familiar. Is it like breaking but without the G and on the end?
No, Break-ins. So it's like BRAKE.
Oh, like breaking in.
CE. It's weird.
Oh no, no.
Yeah, you should look him up. He's insane. Literally, like one of my biggest inspirations currently. Like, just it's this weird mixture of like. Do you remember hyperpop? Were you familiar with that?
Hyperpop still exists now.
Yeah, it's like not really anymore.
I mean, yeah. Everybody's got their own opinion on that, but yes, I'm familiar with hyperpop and its multitude of existences.
He kind of stemmed from that, and then now it's kind of built into like this weird alternative mixture of it. It's hard to describe. It's honestly one of those things you just got to listen to, and I'm such a fanboy of that sound. Like,
can you look at the camera and spell the name out one more time?
BRAKENCE.
Okay.
Did I get that right? I wasn't paying attention.
I think you did.
Okay, I think I did.
If you didn't, people put it in the comments.
Yeah.
Everyone just flame you if you got it wrong.
Yeah, everyone's just going to flame me if I got it wrong.
It's never happened before. We'll see if you're the first.
Okay.
For me, there's like certain solo artists that I could think of, but like my main thought comes to like someone out of like my favorite group ever, Brockhampton.
Okay.
Because I've always loved how they like collaborated as a group. It was always such a natural thing, and I was like really attracted.
You gotta pick one person.
So if I have to choose one person from
One
that,
person, yep.
I think I would go with someone named Joba, one of the members.
Okay. Hell yeah.
Really like the flow that he's always had and changed up in the versatility that he has.
Now, would you want to work with them in the sense of like collaborating on a track, or would you just want to like be a fly on the wall or like ask questions? Like, how would you want to interact with them?
In every way possible, because like his like
I want to eat cereal together. I want us to go on jogs. No, I'm kidding.
Jogs, watch movies.
Yeah, I heard he likes long walks on the beach. I don't like the beach, but I could learn.
It's just something of he specifically like this group that I like listened to for so long was his part specifically was something that I was very attracted to of like if I wanted to like take inspiration, it was from him. So I'd like to ask questions about how he got to the point where he was at, and just to work with him on a song would be amazing.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. All right. What do you got?
My biggest inspiration, if I'm being honest, has to be Pierre Bourne. I don't know if you know who Pierre Bourne is, but
Man, you guys are pulling some names on me today. Usually I'm more on top of it than this.
Pierre, he literally makes almost everything like that he does. He produces his own beats, he does his own vocals and everything and all that. So like, I don't know, it really inspires me to do that stuff too. Like I want to be able to like make my own beat, make my own vocals, make my own music video. Like I want to do everything, you know what I mean? Like, so like that's a big inspiration to me. Like, I don't know, if he were to make me a beat, like just hearing his tag like before and I were to hop on it, that would, man, I would be so happy.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I love that. All right. Now, this next question, usually, again, with an individual person, it's kind of tied together. So for this, I kind of want to structure it different. But typically I ask now subsequently, who's a local artist that you're aware of that you would want to connect with that you haven't yet? And y'all can still say individual answers if you want, but I kind of want to know who is a local artist that y'all are aware of that you would want to feature on a song with y'all?
With the group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, I kind of want to hear your individual answers for that because I'm curious if this 2-to-1 ratio keeps going. But you'll have to have your answers ready so you can't end up picking what they said instead. So take a moment when y'all are ready, go for it one at a time. Oh, I should make them all say it at the same time so they can't be like, no, I was going to say that too. No, I'm kidding.
We can do that.
You know what? Let's do it. Let's do it. I want to see how let's see how this plays out. Cameron,
Okay.
I'm sorry in advance for the mix on this one. But when you all have it ready, we'll count to 3.
Okay. I think I got mine already.
I'm
Wait.
debating on mine. I'm switching back and forth. real
Wait,
quick.
so we're doing for the group, right? First?
For the
Yeah.
group, like
Yeah.
featuring like MIMA 117 featuring someone else. They're thinking so hard.
I know. I'm so
That's
excited for
hard.
this.
That's
I've,
hard.
like I said, I've never done this before. This is a really fun question for me now.
It's interesting because like we've already met so many different artists, and I'm just like they're all going through my head. I'm like I really like a lot of most of the people we've connected with, and,
Yeah.
but I think I got my answer.
All right, we're just waiting on you.
All right, man.
All right. I guess I'll count to 3 and on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Jaden
Oh,
F.
Looks.
Okay, they were all different answers, and we have it recorded, so you have to say it. We'll start with you and go this way.
I was saying Jaden F.
Okay. And why?
I like his energy. I like the energy around him. Well, I know I said Jaden F, but also Forlux. Any one of them, you know, they're just. I really like the energy they have. It reminds us of like how we are,
Okay.
or it reminds me of how we are. It's very motivational in a way. It's good to see more people that kind of almost have the same mindset that we have.
Hell yeah. I dig that. And ties perfectly into believe what you said your answer was.
Yeah, Forlux. For me, it was between Jaden F and Forlux. There's like other people.
This still counts as the 2-to-1 ratio so far. I'm just saying.
Because so we had performed at Rage Nest, and just seeing all of them perform, their whole group actually was just it was really cool seeing the energy that they brought with it. They were, to me, it was very like inspiring. It was like, wow, it's some things like little things that you can see other people do, you want to pick up on, improve on yourself. Where I was like, that was amazing, that was cool.
Hell yeah. I dig that. All right. What do you
I'd
got?
have to say for the group, definitely on the same thing with them, Jaden or Forlux.
That's not what, is that what you said last
No,
time?
yeah, I said
fuck, I thought it.
Forlux.
Damn it.
I've
All right.
worked with Jaden before.
See, you guys are on the same page, and that's really cool. That's
Yeah.
really interesting.
I just really like the things that they're doing with Rage Nest and everything. Like they're really smart. They know what they're doing. You know what I mean? They run things like what Gabe or Xaotix said.
No,
My bad.
cut that out. Bleep it.
Oh no, Cameron, remind me to bleep it.
But like he said, like they kind of do things almost the same way as us. So like I could see us collaborating with them like pretty easily.
Hell yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, that's really cool. And I'm just not super familiar. Are they a duo or are they just 2 individual
They're
people?
2 individual people, but they run like an event like
Gotcha.
It's called Rage Nest. They set up their own events and
You know,
stuff.
I think they like reached out to see if we wanted to go up, but it was like the weekend after, or it was like shortly after Feed the People,
Yep.
and we had just gone and done that. I was like, I'm sorry, we can't get back up there that soon.
The next one I would definitely say check out. They had like hella people pop out.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of artists to meet and connect with. It's like a really good place for making connections.
and
So
everyone's there just to listen to the music, you know, like
No, totally.
everyone's.
there's a lot of great energy there.
Rage Nest 6. Be there or be square.
Wait, there have been 5 already?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Okay. Now, do they happen like bi-monthly or is it just whenever?
I think it's whenever.
Okay.
I'm not too familiar with their schedule.
Okay. But like, have they been happening? Like, do they happen every few weeks or is it like every other month? Like, when have the last few
It's
happened?
around like every other month.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And that makes sense. I mean, that's a pretty good amount of time to like put together shows.
Yeah.
You know, unless you do one every month. All right. For this next hypothetical question, if you could perform anywhere in the world, and this will be individual answers only, but if you could perform anywhere in the world and you wouldn't have to worry about crowd access, you wouldn't have to worry about power, you wouldn't have to worry about building stability if you picked somewhere weird, which finally, I used the Roman Colosseum all the time. One time I didn't use it as an example. Somebody picked the Roman Colosseum. Fun fact. But if you could perform anywhere in the world, where would you perform? Oh, I thought you already had it.
Thought I did, but
All right, we're
I
going.
have
You have it again.
Yep. The Sphere, I think it's called in Vegas.
Oh God, I know what you're talking about.
It's like a ball.
Yeah.
And it's got weird effects
Oh,
on the
yep,
inside and outside. And
Okay.
that would be crazy to perform at.
Hell yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Like, would you do a stage inside, or would you like
Yeah.
do somewhere in the Sphere? On the Sphere.
I think the inside's got stuff in it too. Like I think
Okay.
it's like, I'm not sure though. I hope it is that way. That's how I imagine it. So if it's not, never mind. But I mean,
All right. Well, if anybody knows them, let's make this happen.
Yes.
We'll host a series of interviews there and then a performance after.
let's do it.
All right. Who's next?
You got one?
I'm trying to think whether I want it to be like somewhere in America or some like crazy place.
Oh, anywhere in the world. Anywhere. The sky's
Uh-huh.
the limits, literally.
Not sure. Probably some place in Europe. I don't know. I feel like Europe would be cool. I can't think of a specific location.
Okay.
Maybe like a castle. Any like old castle.
Any
they got.
castle will do. That's a great answer.
Don't
Pick
like
a big
us-
castle. Apparently, castles were a lot smaller than people made them out to be.
Really?
Fun fact. I mean, there are still some big ass castles, but apparently there were a lot of like tiny ass castles nobody just ever talks
I don't know
about.
if anyone's ever had a concert with like a mosh pit inside of a castle. So it'd be like,
There has to be somewhere. I'm sure there are castles that are more accessible over in those countries.
Yeah.
They just don't promote them because,
Castle venues.
yeah. There's got to be.
yeah. I mean,
Somebody
people
put
rage
that
at
in the
a castle
comments.
Probably wouldn't be like the.
I dig that. You should build a castle here and throw
That'd be
events
kind of
there.
cool.
Yeah.
And make
We
it like
can-
a permanent venue to rent out.
Yeah.
We can go to one of those wooden playground castles and
Oh,
perform there.
true. Oh, you can go to that creepy, what is it? The like Lost Forest or whatever. The weird, like, it's somewhere in Oregon. I should know this. I've lived here for the Enchanted Forest. There we go. If you guys don't know it because you're from Upper Washington, check it out after.
Hey,
I think you guys in particular, given the things that you allegedly partake in, would enjoy an adventure there if there were no children.
Hell yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because, children. But yeah, there you go. That's a little this area suggestion.
I bet we'll check that out.
Yeah. But where would you perform?
I feel like the Sphere is a good spot, but man, some about like performing at like the Great Pyramids or something like that. That's a good idea.
Yeah. See, that's one I've thought of before too, but I never say it out loud because I don't want to give too many good examples.
That would be crazy, I feel like. Or even you could like climb up onto the top. You're like performing on the top or whatever.
See, I would want to perform inside the pyramid.
Oh yeah, even
Like,
inside. That would
there's
be
a bunch,
crazy.
like it's all like crazy mazes and big ass stuff and like
booby
traps. Yeah, that makes it fun. You're out here two-step and all of a sudden, no, I'm kidding.
Running from like a boulder while like
no, that would again part of the setting it up to make sure that it's crowd accessible is the no booby trapping. We throw we put some stuff in there ahead of time.
Or you just keep them and it's like whoever makes it to the show makes it to the show. Like whoever makes it to the booby traps.
It's just extreme venue attending. You're like, look, guys, you could just buy tickets. Or
you can try to make it through the maze.
Or you could run through this thing full of, spikes and snakes and I don't know, probably some kind of falling sand, something.
Quicksand pit, easy.
Yeah. Just surprise quicksand in the middle of stone.
Viper pit?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you have to have a viper pit.
Yeah.
Somehow, all the snakes are still alive, having not eaten anything.
Yeah.
Went in that hole that they couldn't get out of. But, that's neither here nor there. All right. Now, this is the last of the hypothetical questions, and I think this will have to be an individual one again. But at the end of it, I would love to know what the group answer could potentially be. So have fun with this one.
Been liking the hypotheticals. They're cool.
These are fun. But we'll go individuals first, and then we'll do a group one at the end just to see, just to get the dialogue going. But if you had to pick a completely different genre than any music you've ever performed ever, and if you've done like a cross-genre song, that both options are off the table now. And even more so, you have to include the music you guys have done as a group as well as individually for your individual answers. Right, and we're gonna start with you. I'm specifically curious about you for this answer.
Why?
I don't know why. You just have a weird preparedness with all the other ones, and I would hope you have something locked in for this one, but the curveball is making you think about it different now.
You know what I'd make?
What?
Country.
Yep.
Country.
Yep.
I know you can't have heard the interview that I just recently did because it hasn't come out yet, so nobody's heard it but me and the person that was there. But that is definitely like the recurring answer. And I really want to do a study on it because I'm so curious, because not a lot, everybody kind of busts country's balls. I'm not even a big country fan.
I think it could have something to do with this. I feel like there's a lot of genres now that are tied together. But country's one that's not there's you got rap that's all these different things. There's rap that's combined with some rock and all this punk and all this different stuff. But country's not really. It's kind of like an outlier. It's kind of very much cut off from the rest of them.
What somebody said, and for some reason this stuck. I brought it up a couple times now. They said that country music is music that's actively written for its audience. When you go to country music concerts, they be getting down. They know all the words to every single song, even if they don't know the artist. Somehow they know all the words. You figure it out in 12 seconds. But they always write stuff that is meant to be participated with and agreed by the audience kind of thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's why I think, even though, like I said, a lot of people I know, they're yeah, I'm not even a big country fan, but if I had to pick something, and I think it's because it has that. Country comes with its own built-in audience. Where I grew up, it was an amphitheater called Shoreline. And the only thing they had like this, to the best of my knowledge, was you could buy a season pass to the lawn for all the country shows.
That's interesting.
So you didn't get fancy seats, but you could go to every single country show. And I don't remember that being available for hip hop,
no,
or alternative, or punk. But no, they had a thing. All the country shows you could get lawn seats just at big old bulk price. But that's tangenting off of your answer for a minute.
I'm kind of split on it. I think I'd want to do something rock related, either punk rock or completely on the opposite side and do I don't know, something maybe bluegrass.
Okay. Hey, see that? I can dig that.
If it's something I haven't done already, either something in the rock realm or bluegrass.
All right. Hey, you know what? There's nothing wrong with that.
His brother's got a banjo. He's already got an in.
Oh, see, you've already done it. No, I'm kidding.
And I already grew up down south. I feel
okay, so yeah, it's just kind of cooked in there. All right, I dig that. That's a solid choice.
For For me, I feel like it would have to be. It's like a toss-up between like some electronic or like dubstep. I feel like some dubstep would be fun. You know what I mean? Like to make, just like raves and stuff. You know what I mean? Having people just all coming around doing some AI dancing. They literally was.
It's just a hologram.
No, yeah.
You know, I'm so sad after the Tupac thing happened that didn't turn into a much bigger thing.
No, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's.
I heard it was
something
expensive.
I think that's something that they should like not like.
Do.
I mean, not of Tupac specifically, but holograms are cool.
I think holograms are cool. Like if an artist can sign off like before they go.
Well, it doesn't have to be a hologram of a famous person.
True.
Like the hologram can be other things.
Well, they do have the AI artist. He's like
Yeah.
an AI rapper.
Well, I like more. I mean, like imagine like because Gorillaz live before they like really started like showing what they look like, their stage performance would be a series of screens that were like in a like portrait frame, not landscape. So like they would just pass through. So their digital characters, the visual artists that or like that they were presented as, existed on the stage, and then like real people would actually come out and do parts as well. And then at a certain point, you know, they started actually like showing up on stage. But for a long time, that was their whole performance.
That's cool. I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So that's that's a thing. Now I want to kind of put a twist on what I had said before. Surprise twist. Before I had said, what do you think you guys would pick as a group as the change sound? But now, out of the 3 answers y'all said, and we're going to lock you in at bluegrass, because that makes it more fun. So out of those 3 answers, collaboratively, which one would you all agree on to do?
Jazz?
No, it has to be of the 3 you picked.
Country,
Out of all of them?
Yeah, so
or,
country,
like,
bluegrass.
I thought you were
or-
saying, like, a
we're gonna
new
say
one.
dubstep for you. That makes it more fun. So if y'all and discuss this one, figure it out however you want to. But if you had to change the group genre to one of those 3, what would it be?
Dubstep.
I feel like dubstep makes the most sense, but I think it'd be way funnier if we just like
Bluegrass.
completely went with
Yeah,
something.
see, this is what I wanted to happen. Keep going. We gotta have it. We
Okay,
gotta
I
have a
think-
locked in answer.
I think dubstep makes sense, but I think it'd be way funnier to go. with
Well,
something.
okay, hang on. Would that be unfair to choose dubstep because I've done dubstep before? I've made that.
Ooh. No, you know we're gonna stick with the original. We can't. We won't dive too deep into this one.
Oh, okay, cool.
But so yeah, we'll say it passes for this one.
Okay, dubstep.
I think dubstep makes the most sense for me.
But yeah, I
All
feel
right.
like dubstep, just even with like our whole, what we got going with our music now.
All right, fine. Then dubstep's off the table because no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Okay, but wait. Bluegrass, we can make a lot of money.
All right, it's back on. It's back on. They're not
Everybody
locked
love
in
bluegrass.
anymore.
Everybody loves bluegrass. I used to know a bluegrass player.
That's cool.
Well,
My
there you
last
go.
boss.
Heck yeah.
He must be working. Be like, I've been working something up.
Yeah, he's not your boss anymore because he quit because he's doing bluegrass full time.
Oh, shit. No, dubstep. Dubstep would probably
All right,
be it.
perfect. I love that. Well, we're looking forward to the next single with. I'm sure Skrillex will be on there.
Oh, yeah.
That'd actually be so
Hell
cool.
yeah.
Yo,
Growing up listening to Skrillex.
some of
that'd
that
be the
newer
coolest
stuff that came out kind of hits. Like that track with Mr. Is it Mr. Ozai? I never know how to say his name. But that's the one that was like.
I know what you're talking about.
That's how I don't get hit with copyright. You know it if you heard it, but that one in particular, that shit hits.
But-
I don't care who you are.
Growing up listening to him, he'd actually be so cool to like make a song with.
Oh yeah, I mean, I knew him in from first to last, so like that's like how I know him still. But like, that was so cool music. I got behind that. I definitely listened to a handful of it back in the day. And then when he moved to that, like I knew Skrillex as the name before I knew it was who it was. So like I appreciated that for different reasons. But once I knew, I was like, man, I remember from first to last. That was a time. All right. Well, now y'all are a dubstep band. Surprise. I restructured you. This is actually this is an intervention. This is what you were meant to do all along.
All
No.
new.
Oh.
Switch up.
Yep. This is actually one of those makeover shows now. Surprise. All right. But for realsies, we're going to go ahead and start wrapping this up. And that's been a lot of fun. Thank you guys
This
so
has
much.
been awesome.
Yeah.
But why don't you go ahead and tell look at the camera, tell everybody, where what's coming up next? What do you got, say, like end of September and onwards?
End of September and onwards.
Be prepared. Mini Trip Fest. We're setting up our own event. our own performance. We need everyone to pop out. Bunch of artists are going to be performing. We're going to have vendors, food, bunch of stuff for you guys. It'll be lit.
It's gonna be a good time.
Hell yeah.
A lot more MIMA music dropping like soon.
Ooh, okay. Okay.
Yes, we got some in the vault, so be ready.
Perfect. And then go ahead and give us the ads, the where they can find you, where's your music, do all that stuff.
You can find the group Instagram at mima.sounds, MIMA.sounds. You can find me on Instagram at KooKay with 3 Ys. You can find me on all platforms. Just type in KooKay, KOOJAY. That's it. Love you guys.
And make sure to plug the group again when you. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
You can find me on like Instagram as loser_lad, and it'll just be L after death on everything else.
Hell yeah.
You can find me on Instagram at Xaotix LOL. So XAOTIXLOL.
There's also a silent Q in there somewhere, I'm sure.
No. Yeah, be prepared for Mini Trip Fest. It's
Hell
gonna be a
yeah.
good time.
Hell
Mima
yeah.
117 on the rise, man.
Let's go.
Oh, if you need a stage, let us know because we got a stage. Yeah.
For your event, whatever. Find us on our website too, mima117.net. You can contact us there. You can send us messages, whatever. Just go to that website.
Hell yeah. And then any other plugs, any other shout outs, anybody else you want to put on while you're on here?
Shout out Makai for kind of being a good homie. He kind of brought us into the scene low key and got us noticed. I'm gonna shout out someone that has been there from the very start of this shit for me. Shout out NDM Dresden. That dude has been listening to my shit for so long. Look at me now. Thank you. It's because of you, bro.
There it is. There it is.
Who you shouting out?
Yeah, I was going to say any other plugs from y'all?
Not anyone I can really like think of like too known.
Okay. I mean, they don't have to be known. This is your chance to say hello to anybody.
Oh,
Hey, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
yeah. Shout out to not like any one homie in particular, but I got like some homies who have supported me with no matter like anything that I've done. They've like always been there to support me and encourage me to do better and go further. Even like the homies right here.
Hell yeah.
So shout out to all those homies.
Oh, yeah. I dig that.
I want to shout out all the homies working behind the scenes for Mima, Jamie, Wyatt, Jack. You guys helping us set up the stage and shit. Oh wait, and Marcus too for all the camera work. If you guys need some camera work, go hit up Marcus, Death Marcus. But yeah, shout out to them guys. They be doing a lot of work for us. They don't even get paid that much. They don't even get paid at all, to be honest. They just doing it out of love. So shout out to them. Fuck yeah, man. Mima 117.
Hell yeah. All right. Now we've got one last question to go. But before we do, I'm going to steal the camera for just a second. As always, y'all, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. You know, I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. And now for the final question. And again, this is going to be individual answers. What is your guilty pleasure song? And I'm saving yours for last this time.
Okay.
Somebody that I used to know. Now you're just somebody that I used to know.
That song lives in my head. That song charges me rent to live in my head. I catch myself singing it at least once a day. I don't know how they cooked that melody,
Nah, for real.
but they did. They went straight to the kitchen and they came back with that, and it just now you're just somebody that God damn. Every day. I get it.
OG.
All right.
This is like a song I like discovered on like Instagram. I don't know. I was just scrolling. It's called like Loner's Anthem by Who Shot Scott.
Okay.
It's a cool one.
Okay. I'm trying to think if I know it, but I probably don't. I was like, I don't spend too much time on it. Now I have to know it. Camera, remind me to listen to it. Somebody put it in the comments.
Okay.
I'm so ready.
My guilty pleasure song is Stupid by Ash Nico, but only because I really, really like the production on that track. It's so well done. The bass hits hard. The vocals are mixed like super crisp and clean. So fuck you. I love that song.
Hey, as long as you have a reason.
Yeah, I had to justify it with them because I was getting my fucking ass chewed.
I saw they were ready to jump on you about it. They were like, let's go.
I'm laughing, but the Halloween song's kind of fire too.
yeah, fuck you.
Hey, that was on camera too, so you're locked in on that one now. He's going to be able to hold that over you forever. All right, y'all. We've made it to the end. Again, thank you so much, not just for coming over, but for making the drive down. I really appreciate it. It's definitely, what is it, like 2 hours away from here?
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, that's a trip. That's a trip. But yes, thank you so much for coming through. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us on.
I just gotta say, you were an awesome host, man. It was a crazy experience to have.
Shout out Jimmy, man. He's the best.
Shout out Jimmy.
Come get interviewed.
Hell yeah. All right, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up. This has been another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jambox. I'm Jimmy.
We're MIMA117, and I'm Xaotix.
L after death.
I'm KooKay.
And we're signing off. Later, y'all.
Bye.
That's a wrap.
This is not a podcast. This is a show.
Keep jamming.